So with Christian nationalism, it seems like the first way that it's used is, okay, well, you're being idolatrous. So idolatry, in a word, you're elevating your citizenship in whatever nation God has sovereignly placed you in above your citizenship in Christ. The second way, so idolatry, in a word. The second one is heresy, and so I'd like to pick your brain on this one. I'm using the term heresy, but idolatry, heresy, and this is what I see here. I wrote, believing that a particular nation, for example, America, has replaced the nation state of Israel as it existed under the Old Covenant, instead of rightly viewing the New Testament church as the fulfillment of Israel. So replacement theology, which is another derogatory term, but we believe that that the church didn't replace Israel, but we believe that that the church is the fulfillment of Israel. That Israel was like the scaffolding, building this temple of the church. And the moment that they finished the project, they were all warmly invited by Christ, the head of the church, to come inside and to join it, but chose rather many of them to harden their hearts. So Israel, under the Old Covenant, the nation state of Israel, if it's been replaced, and there are better words to use, but if it's been replaced by anything, it is not Israel replaced by America or Brazil or China. Israel has been replaced by the church. So in my assessment, you've got the idolatry piece, which I don't see a lot of conservative evangelicals committing. They're actually caring more about their national identity than their spiritual identity in Christ. And then you have the heresy piece. This one I definitely don't see, because the way I see it, and this is what I'd like your thoughts on, I feel like there's two primary categories that most conservative evangelicals fall into. You got guys on the two kingdom side of things that they don't think, that not only do they not think America has replaced Israel, they don't even think the church has replaced Israel. They think Israel is rocking and rolling, and there's two tracks, so that'd be like your dispensational position. And then all of your covenant guys, whether it be Westminster covenantalism or like a 1689 federalism, which would be where I'm at. And so you just gotta humor me with my Baptist ways, but still in that covenant framework. But for us, we would say the church has replaced Israel, not America. So you got the dispensational guys who are going to say, well, Israel hasn't been replaced at all by the church or America. Then you got us saying the church, not America. So who is Russell Moore and these guys? Who are they talking about? Who is committing this heresy of believing that America actually is the equivalent of Israel? Do you know any conservative Christians who hold that view?
I have no idea who they're talking about. Now, I have seen some blasphemous artwork online. Jesus wearing a American flag around the shoulders, and there's that kind of syncretism, right, where that sort of stuff does go on, but that's kind of a fever swamp reaction. That's kind of out there.
And that's FBI informants probably that came up with that artwork.
Yeah. The thing that they're missing, and it staggers me that we can't get this point across. What we're saying is that I would stoutly deny that America has any unique prophetic role to play. America is not God's chosen people. Mm-hmm. We're not God's chosen nation. Mm-hmm. The gospel has expanded from Israel to the world. So the church, the church, which is the fulfillment of the olive tree, let's say. Mm-hmm. So Israel, Old Testament Israel, was the olive tree. The church has been grafted. Believing Gentiles have been grafted in to the olive tree. Unbelieving Jews were cut out of the olive tree. And this olive tree is going to grow and fill the face of the world with fruit. Mm. So what was this church, this fulfillment? I think your phrase of the fulfillment of Israel is the best way to put it. We don't replace Israel the way one billiard ball replaces the other one. Mm. We are the fulfillment of Israel the way an olive tree comes to harvest. All right, so, where everything is coming to fruition. What was that church, that fulfillment of Israel, commanded to do? Well, the Great Commission was a command to disciple the nations. All right, so before the task of the prophets was to disciple the nation, Israel. And that was to be a witness to all the nations, even in the Old Testament. Now the explicit commandment is for us to disciple America and Canada and Mexico and Brazil and around the world. So America is so far from being uniquely the chosen people of God. We are one nation among many. So consequently, I want all the nations to come to Christ. I want all the nations to stream to the root of Jesse, as the prophets say they will. And that is, there is no unique spiritual place for America that is a counterpart for Israel. That just doesn't exist. Yep. And no responsible theologian holds that.
Wait. Real quick, before you go, do me a favor. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click the bell so you'll be notified with all our new content as it comes out on a daily basis. And if you're willing to support this ministry, you can do so by going to rightresponseministries.com/donate. Thanks so much. God bless.